the worst thing we could do in this first world country, to strip everything from a guy, and it's bad for the guy, one, sure, or it could be a girl either.
Yeah,
Um,
it's not just a guy. I think
but the
also
kids are
girls.
the ones who are the biggest losers, and
Mm.
that's what I would want to, die fighting for, is that kids don't ever have to go through this same pain. This is worse than my time in Afghanistan, is seeing, someone kind of held captive or kidnapped pretty much from a loving parent, without any justified reasonability or
Yeah.
means of why that would happen.
Hey people, welcome again to another episode of Naked and Not Ashamed. And today we are going for the second part of this story. And if you did not watch the first part, kindly, it's the last video, so you can go and watch it. And then you can come and continue with this so that you're not lost. So I'm your host, Percy Smith, and he is our guest today, Dave Smith, my husband, for those who don't know. Yeah, and yeah, so Dave, we left from your divorce, so you can continue from the divorce.
So, yeah, she said she wanted a divorce. And it was, it was kind of like something I had thought that would be coming eventually, because she used it as a strategy in the past. We were separated for 6 months. And then when she said it this time, I played with the idea maybe a month or 2 months prior, thinking, what am I going to do if she actually says she wants a divorce? Because, yeah, a group that I was with, a bunch of guys, powerful man, they were saying in my group that when a woman has, threatened or said divorce already once, she's probably already left the relationship 2 years prior. So that's where I started thinking about it. Was like, okay, this could be she's just gone and she's going to drop the hammer in a couple of months. And sure enough, she did. And so I said, okay, you want a divorce? Then I guess we're going to have to make it happen. And then it went on we're still in the same house for 3 months, um, from pretty much like the end of December to March 11th. And in that process, we did things together. We even went to a New Year's kind of party with some other people that we went to church with, and they didn't know anything that she said she wanted to get a divorce. We just acted like we're still married, and brought our boy there and everything. And then, yeah, and then another couple days goes by. I let him know what happened, and then I just kind of made plans for it. As like, I figured out how much I was going to give her and how to separate things. I'll give her a full house, mortgage free, no spousal support. I'll pay child support. Don't come after my pension or anything. And then that way she gets a free house out of it, and where everything's equal, and it should be good.
Before you go there, how many times did she ask for divorce before this the last one now?
There was one before my boy was born, and she like fiddle around with that. And there was a couple times that she, would say things like, "We're not going to stay together. I'm going to take your boy and all your stuff and ruin your life." She said that, I don't know, at least
Did she
two or three
use the
other
same
times.
words, or you're just saying them?
That's what I remember. That she said she would want to take my boy from me and try to get the MCFD like called on me to make it so I could never see him again.
So
Um,
I know we are progressing with the story, but what was she trying to achieve by that? Like at that point, or what did you wrong? What did you do wrong for her to say such things?
what did I do wrong? I I didn't keep a lot of records of what she did wrong. She wanted babies, and I didn't want to give her, for like the ICF,
IVF.
IVF, like the implanted embryo, because We did do another one. It was $800 a month. This other one was $20,000 a month. And when that would happen, just about when it would have happened, we just got told that she had PCOS and endometriosis, which made her incapable of having babies, pretty much, or very unlikely for the embryo to stick. So,
Uh, but it happened the first time. Okay, I know that's her story, but it happened the first time. Why did you need IVF the second time?
so we did the IVF over and over and over. Then
No, like when your boy Ghana was born.
yeah, I feel like he was a blessing. Um, she had gone through 2 abortions already before we got married.
That
So
wasn't necessary, but yeah.
so that was one thing I thought would kind of make her not able to have kids as well. But we had our boy, and I'm glad for him. After that, yeah, I said, "Oh, well, you got this PCOS and endometriosis, then maybe we shouldn't do IVF. Um, let's adopt or let's foster. Let's take care of other kids so that we don't have to spend $20,000 plus in Canada another $20,000, so $40,000 in total for travels and hotels and blah blah blah." I figured, why don't we just spend the money and get somebody who's not wanted, and give them someone that wants them for a life. And then that was, I think, one thing for her that really set her off, because this was like in whatever the last months of the year, probably November-ish, and in August, prior August, this is all the same year when she said she wanted a divorce. I flew us out to Ontario for a marriage retreat, Lella Ministries. Great time. And I thought, oh, this is gonna be great. We're both here. It's an all-inclusive, meals included, like a Christian place, and we did our counseling and with another couple, and I thought that was good, except for when I thought we would talk things as a couple, she pretty quickly just broke down quick and said she's going through all this hard stuff, which I don't really know what the hard stuff was. Um, but whatever, let her have the stage and talk about her, what, bad things had happened. And she'd bring up things I'd done in the past that I was forgiven for, multiple times. But then she'd bring that up again during their counseling, and then say it was my issue, and I have issues. I got depression, I got PTSD from military and brain injury and blah blah blah. But none of it's true. But she painted me as if it was, and then so the counseling session that we did 2 or 3 times a day pretty much just became all about me unpacking my history and my past as a child, and growing on my own. And I mean, it's great. Sure, I benefited from that, but our marriage sure didn't. I guess because she didn't have to be accountable for anything, and I didn't bring up all these records of wrongs that she had done to me. And
So,
yeah, so
so,
that
uh,
that marriage retreat was like kind of like a new beginning. That just kind of highlighted our relationship. I thought it was all
okay.
starting new.
So at the marriage retreat, was this like the last time, or was this another time that she asked for divorce? Then you guys went for marriage retreat, or like what time did this marriage retreat come in?
I've wanted to do it for quite a while, and
Yeah.
I had a really good friend who'd been to that area before from in Ontario, and he recommended. I was already looking for a place to do this, and he recommended it, and he said it was coming, and this is how much it was, and so I organized it with because of him, and I just went for it and did it, and yeah, no, before that there was a pretty much, I guess, like a separation we had for 6 months, 2021, I think,
Yeah.
and then um, yeah, that was pretty awful. Didn't see my boy up much at all.
What happened?
She said that we should separate, or we should get a, I don't know if she said divorce, but that was what it sounded like. So I ended up leaving the house. She said I should leave the house and go stay at the rental. I left the house and I went to my parents in 100 Mile House, and I did my third year millwright there for the 2 months instead of going to work. And yeah, stress was really high. But then finished that off, came back to Castlegar, and then stayed in my rental house, and did that for 4 more months or so. And I, yeah, didn't. She said she didn't want me to talk to her or call my boy. Um,
For the 6 months?
Pretty well, yeah.
Huh?
And she didn't want me even going to the property, which was my house here. Um, and none of it was all legal, or didn't get cops or anything involved. But I followed it. I didn't do anything wrong. And then, yeah, eventually we got back together, and I figured it was pretty rocky. That's why I ended up wanting to do the marriage retreat and really change things. And I worked a lot and did a lot, but I also stood behind what I believed, and working on the marriage and getting it done. But yeah, everything I poured into trying to get it fixed and everything, no, wasn't enough.
So seems like you guys were having troubles even before like the time that to ask for divorce. This is whatever. This is your story. You'll tell it however you want. Did you guys, for the number of times you married, did you guys think you enjoyed the marriage, or it was just issues and issues?
There was times I think it was enjoyable. Yeah, there was. Looking back on it now, it was more the little things. I think was just miserable all the time. And then there would be like a positive moment here and there, doing some things like going to a vacation, go to Cuba, go to Toronto, go to even just down south in Washington a little bit. There was some good times that were there, but during those good times, it would be on the rides, and there would be just a whole lot of bickering or particularness that it's like she didn't get enough sleep or something when I'm doing all the driving, going back and forth for like 48 hours at once. Um, it's just things that I get it, but I'm trying to take the sacrifice so that she didn't have to go through as many hard things. But then I'd be the one driving, listening to all this bickering and problems with either the driving or about not listening to her as. Um, yeah, just a lot of
So
small things. And
have
her tone of voice on a lot of the stuff was just like, I didn't realize it at the time. I was just placating to her or being a doormat just so she never had any reason to feel stressed or down. But yeah, I realize it now that I just was a doormat and got disrespected up, down, and left, right.
on the same issue. How was this your first marriage counseling, or had you guys gone for more counseling?
No, we did lots of counseling.
Yeah.
I think there was 3 in Manitoba and probably two two in BC, one online. On top of that, and then she went and saw her own psychiatrist,
Yeah.
and that did amazing. It's
Oh yeah,
expensive. I
you
paid for
talked
it,
about
but
it. Yeah.
yeah, it did really well for her. She turned out to be a way better person, but he had a stroke, so that ended. Didn't pick that up anymore.
Okay, so let's go back to the story. She asked for divorce, and then
So she asked for divorce. We're in the same house. It was, I think, middle of February. We had a counseling session. We did with another guy online, and we had been seeing him before and after. And then she said, "I don't want to get a divorce at this time." And then I said, like, I already made peace with it. Like, it was all done, and I tried so long, and that's it. She said she was done, and she's done. And I read into that as well as when I let it not affect me, and I am not dependent on her, and I just carry on my life. And I think she saw that, and I think she saw that I was more confident without her. And actually, everything that I've been suffering with her the last years, I was actually freeing myself of that burden. So yeah, no, I started living my life, um, you know, working on what I wanted to become and what I wanted to do with me. And so I took my boy to, well, I was there before that time. I ended up talking to some other girls. And then that's when she said she didn't want to get a divorce, and I was like, oh, okay, well, I already moved on. But I came clean and I was accountable, and I told her I was talking to other girls, and I think that pretty much is the nail in the coffin when I told her that. And then she went back to wanting to leave me, but also try to strip my boy from me. And so, anyways, the last day was March. I think it was like March 10th or something. Yeah, March 9th. I took my boy to church with me, and I told her, "Oh, Gunnar wants to come to church with me," and she said, "Oh no," he said he would come with me, and he had to go talk to mom. I was like, "Okay, we'll go ask mom." And then what did she? And then he came back. He's like, "Okay, let's go." And she said, "Why are you taking him to church with you?" I said, "Well, or where are you going?" I said, "I'm going to Trail," and she said, "Well, why are you going to Trail?" I said, "Because I want to." And she said, "This isn't working. We need to talk to somebody." I was like, "Yep, sounds good. Let's talk to somebody. Let's make it work." Because I thought at this point the relationship was still possibly fixed if she really wanted to put effort in. But that was pretty much the last thing I said to her. And then oh no, she said, "I never wanted this divorce."
She said?
She said that. That was the last thing she said, and I didn't even respond. I just opened the door and walked out because it was for sure 100% the whole thing she wanted to start. I invested a lot of effort trying to keep it running, and then when she said it, that's where just yeah, I was leaving the door. So then I take my boy to church. I drop him off. She wanted me to drop him off at her parents on the way back, so I did, and then that was the last time I saw him before she took things a little further. There's also a foster boy that was in our house as well, that we were looking after. I love the kid, and I helped him a lot with her and how she was demeaning him. But I go to sleep. Nobody comes home that Sunday night. Or maybe they did. Can't remember. I go to sleep, wake up, go to work Monday, come home. Nobody's there. Nobody's home. Everyone's gone. The dogs are gone. Everything's gone. I tried reaching out to see where people are eventually, like a little bit later, and no calls back or nothing. Go back to work Tuesday, and then get a call. No, yeah, I got a call on the radio, and RCMP was outside looking for me, and I said, "What's this?" Anyways, they served me papers saying I had to go to court at 2 o'clock that day, and that I wasn't allowed to come back to this house. I wasn't to see my boy anymore. All my guns and everything taken away, and couldn't see our foster kid, which neither one of us were um, guardians of, so that was totally unjustified.
Okay, what transpired the previous day for you to get like to be served? What
Taking,
happened?
like I said, I came home from work. The only thing last I really talked to her was taking my boy to church.
After that, there's nothing.
Nothing.
You guys didn't fight or anything after that.
Not
Okay.
that I remember. Um, yeah, and I was sleeping in the basement at this point. We're not in the same room. My, no, I don't think. Usually I had Gunner. He was sleeping with me almost every night. He loved spending time with me. We do so much together. And then, then she just dropped the hammer and said that she feels scared to MCFD or police or whatever. And then got the police involved to just completely separate me from my boy.
Did you threaten her or something?
Not once. Nope. All she had to say was that she was scared. Like I said, I was accountable
why was she scared then?
because I had a brain injury and that I was in the military. She totally played it. There's nothing like me hitting her or anything. I gave her a credit card. I paid for it every month, $1,500. I paid just actually after she wanted the divorce. I think it was February. I paid for her insurance for the entire year. after that. And continued to pay gas for her. I paid for that credit card almost the at least half of the year following the court date where she ripped my boy away from me. And yeah, she got me kicked out of this house. I couldn't come anywhere near any of my possessions or anything. I had 7 days to leave this place, and I went and slept in my car for 2 weeks until I had a really good friend that gave me a place. So yeah, no, she dropped the hammer for sure and ripped everything from my life pretty well. All the dogs, I just had to leave them here. No, she took the dogs, so I didn't even see them. And then, yeah, when I went and left, and she came back to this house, she didn't really. She stayed at her parents, so it was like neither one of us was here, and I couldn't come here. Um, but yeah, I couldn't even come back to grab clothes. I couldn't grab boots. I wanted to go on this big hiking trip, and I had to get my ex-father-in-law to grab me some boots and stuff from the house. Yeah, that was a dark time, and I can't believe that somebody who says they're Christian would ever do that to another person, especially taking their kids away from them. Where I was the coach for his baseball game or baseball team, t-ball the first year. This current year that this all happened, I was coaching that summer for his team as well. And eventually, when I did get through to the courts a little bit, and they said that I was fine, then they would give me supervised visits at first, which was an hour, and somebody had to be at the baseball game while I was coaching all the kids, including my boy, but I couldn't be with my boy without a supervisor there, but I could be with the other kids.
Why?
Because that's what she had made allowable for the courts to see. No, I don't even think she had to make the allowable. I think they told her, okay, well, yeah, you gotta let him see his son, supervise if there's doing something dangerous, which there was no records of.
So what is dangerous? What is dangerous thing that you could do to your son? At least in her perspective.
In her perspective, maybe she thought I don't. She probably would make things up. That I would get angry at him and I would beat him, or that I would speed in the car with him or something. But yeah, if she would say something like me hitting him, then that would be totally off because it never happened. So she just said she felt scared, and she didn't even have to give much evidence because she didn't have much evidence. Eventually, it took 9 months, but the MCFD, Ministry of Children and Family Department, did their investigation and said there was no need for protection between me and my boy. And then, but she had accused me of being mean to my dogs because I left them outside one night when I had to go to work, and 2 of them ran off. 1 did not. So we lost 2 dogs that time. And then we bought another dog, little puppy, and we'd let it out. I'd do all the things. I'd feed the dogs. I'd let the dogs out. I'd train the dogs. I let it out one night, and I think it took off trying to bark at some coyotes or something because we had another dog doing that, and just a little wiener dog. So I'm fairly certain another coyote came and grabbed that puppy, and I looked around all for it, like any traces of blood or anything all around for hours, and he got nothing. And then so she said that was me being mean to dogs, and then we replaced that wiener dog with another wiener dog, and that one I didn't want to let out of the house because of this reason. So I took it out with a leash every time to go to the bathroom or be in presence of it. And then I built a whole enclosure with a dog door so that nothing could get at the dog and they could just put in the enclosure. And the day I finished that he was able to use it, he came outside with my boy and they're walking down the driveway. And we were just planning on going for this camping trip. So I told him, okay, stay close to the dog. And then I start backing up the car to go get the tent trailer. And then he gets distracted and comes behind the car because he was really interested in the backing up and getting on the trailer or something. So I stopped. I got out. And I said, "Stay far away, okay?" and then I went back in, and I go back up another 2-3 feet, and the little puppy ran underneath the tire as I was backing up, and I ran it over. And it was the worst because I love those dogs more than either one of them did. And she called that cruelty to animals because I killed the dog in front of our boy. And
Did you
that's what,
intentionally kill the dog? I'm
no,
just trying to get that right.
absolutely not. No, I love
Okay.
that dog so much. Plus, it was my investment. The dogs aren't cheap. And I bought all the dogs, and I did not want to see them run over at all. And yeah, totally, I had more of a love for them than in the other ones. So, yeah, that was what she brought up in court, saying cruelty to animals. So that
Oh,
was part of the things I guess that would make her feel unsafe, or
okay.
that she could say that would make her feel unsafe.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all that they got to do, and strip everything from my life.
Okay. I know, like, we are towards the end, but how did you get to see your son now?
Yeah, I kept fighting, and eventually we went to court. Uh, I think the third time, and I said I wanted a lot more time. Like I was done with this once a week for an hour or whatever. And the judge said, okay, well, we're gonna make this thing. He kind of did a mediation of what she wanted, what I wanted, and he said after this date, you're gonna get back to your house, and you're gonna get 2 days of visit after that time, and I expect you to work out more time with your ex for parenting time. And yeah, that didn't end up working. I ended up getting back to the house, but trying to work out for more time, she she twisted it because she knew she was losing ground, and she ended up trying to go to Abbotsford with my boy, and I didn't. I thought it was a joke, wasn't gonna happen, and eventually we did a mediation, and that was part of the mediation that she went to Abbotsford, and I did agree to it. Um, I had my reasons. I was trying to get the other side, but I ended up letting him go. And now I see him very little, 16% of the time of the year. So, yeah, that's been the sad part. But
Okay. In all this story that you've given us, I've just had, she did this, ha, 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 ha. So it's always been
what
the
did I do
second
to
person.
contribute?
Yeah.
What did I do to contribute the bad stuff? Like before the divorce or after? Like after the separation?
Yeah, probably the whole thing, like whatever, what you did, because I don't think someone will just say that no contact order, no, you're dangerous to my son, no, you cannot do this, no, do not call me, do not try to get in touch with me, or anything, right?
Mm.
So there's something. My dad says there is a role someone's play, even if it is a tiny
I know
one.
what you're saying, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's something
Otherwise, you
that I
guys would
did.
be happily married.
Um, it wasn't about the car. She had her own car that she was happy with. Um, but she wanted her own house, and this house I was renovating because we were gonna stay in it forever, and everything she kind of wanted with it. I did. I paid for it. I worked the overtime to pay for it, and I even hired people to work on it so it would get done faster when I was making good money. Um, she wanted to go more vacations. She wanted to go do stuff more. And I was just working, like I said on the last episode, I worked a lot to pay for our life, and then it was getting to the point where I was going to get in front, so I didn't have to work much at all. Um, what did I do? When I did the Powerful Man course, it changed things a lot. I was a lot more confident of who I was, and I wasn't, getting thrown around so much by the spousal abuse, the psychological abuse, and I was just kind of paying lip service to it and finding myself a lot better.
Do you think if she was seated here, she would say she was undergoing the spousal abuse as well and all those things? as well.
She would try. I
Because we
think.
have one side of the story, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and I'm trying to think about that. I would think she would want to say that I was financially abusing her because I was withholding money. I was only giving her a credit card and telling her not to spend too much. But then I paid for her to go to a trip to Thailand, paid for her to go to School of the Prophets in Redding, California twice, so she could meet all her prophet friends and become prophets together. Um, I made it so she didn't have to work. She worked for the church, making $300 a month, um, looking after children and being the Sunday school teacher.
I know.
Um,
Let me cut you short a little bit. Yeah, we are talking about did did she not want to work, or did you not want her to work? Let's go there first.
no, I wanted her to work because she wanted more, and I was doing a lot to give her more. She didn't have to do anything. All the food was all paid for. Her car, gas, insurance, all that was all paid for. So she'd go out, see her friends, and spend time with our boy. But she wanted more, and I was like, well, if you want more, go get a job. And she didn't want
Did
to
you
get
say
a job.
that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, go get a job. I mean, I would. Yeah, I like the idea of not having a woman have to work, but if you want things like your hair done all the time or new clothes all the time, then
All the time. What do you mean by all the time? Because things have to be updated.
well, not every week or 2 weeks that you need to have a new haircut or something. Um, I don't know. There's just so much that went into it. Makeup, more makeup, and all the stuff in the bathroom. I spent tons of like $8,000 on getting the bathroom done so that it'd be the way she wants it.
Because I think this, I remember we were talking about sometime finances and all that. And finances is a big, don't cry. Finances is a big part, right? Of
Yeah.
most divorce cases.
Yeah.
And the way you said, she would probably say she was you were financially abusive. Is it true, according to you? Do you think you were financially abusive though?
No, I try to make it buying all the toys, buy everything that she wants, like even, um, like she would want to buy her trips. That was a big thing. She wanted to go places, and we made plans. When we first got married, we were a joint account, and then things were rough, and she was spending a lot more money than we had. So, and this was when she was working. So I took all of the payments, all the bills and everything, separated the accounts again, back in my own account with all the bills and mortgage and everything. She didn't have to pay for the mortgage and anything, and I still kept more money by paying for all the bills and the groceries, just having it not accessible for her. And yeah, that's when she was working, so she was pretty much had all the money that she would want to do whatever with. And yeah, you fast forward to where I'm the only one working and I'm managing all the bills and everything on both our rental house and our house and another rental house. And money was flowing really well.
So if money was flowing, why didn't you want her to spend money?
Because I wanted to get this house done so that we could be free to travel and do fun things and not live in, a kitchen that was, countertops. Had to do our dishes in the not the toilet, in the bathtub because we didn't have a sink. Those kind of things. We want to get everything to a spot where it's sustainable before we start doing all of the, buying all the fun, flashy new car kind of things. It was all just a timeline. I saw the future, and she did not.
Maybe I'm just saying, maybe you're just thinking of investing in the future and not
Totally.
probably thinking of the.
Yeah.
No, I understand
that's
when you say
probably
like
it.
the house has to be
I
finished
was
and all
thinking
that.
more future, not present. And she was thinking more past and present. And yeah, I probably wasn't there enough. We were just working a lot of overtime, seeing the opportunity to making a whole lot of money so we could make everyone's lives more comfortable and make us, stress free with money.
On the same note, when it comes to money, would you rather like have worked just enough hours and not extra hours, and then have the time and spend time and travel with family,
Looking back on it now,
or there was
I
no
mean,
money for travel if you
I
did
see
not
it.
work?
I see it that she was already gone a couple of years prior. So those 2 or 3 years leading up to it, I think it would probably be just as good to work that amount. I mean, yeah, I lost a lot of money on everything, so it's not really a good way of saying it. If I could tell that to people watching, if you work really really hard and you try to save, invest, and you get a divorce, it just says goodbye to all that hard work you put in. So no, it's not worth all the work I put in. It was amazing that I could, my own ego, I could say that I could work and make a lot of money and make it like a repeatable process that is like a system. You just make money. But yeah, what the money I actually made in that time was kind of pointless. Except for I got one nice house now. I lost everything else. Went from 1.3 mil net worth to whatever the worth of this house is in our belongings. So it's about 600. So less than half net worth when the divorce happened. All the work put in and all the planning and strategy just kind of went up in dust.
So if you go back in time, is there anything that you would change?
Yeah, I think I would have been for sure. Yeah, like at first in the relationship, I thought being the man head of the house would be the dominant one, and he would be the head of the house. And I was ruling it that way without thinking about the responsibility of the man equally, and that he's to give his life for his wife and sacrifice himself and be humble, and that's what I understand now. I didn't understand that then. So going through the marriage and having going through my own struggles that I did in the first couple of years, and then had the brain injury and everything kind of reset and I had to regrow all over again. I found near the end about my own self-confidence and being assertive in what I think of and what I believe, not just being doting and lovey-dovey no matter what. Still choice, being a loving husband by choice, not just by feelings. But yeah, I was also loving myself because she was not filling my love tank at all. Very little. And then I found that if I start doing things for myself, then I'll feel better and I'll be more productive and I'll be able to love her more if I love myself first. So yeah, I learned a lot about that near the end. And I really want to teach that to more guys.
From all these happening and events, what is like 3 lessons that you're taking with you, or something that you're learning that you love, or you learned rather, that you love to teach?
Yeah, I think a lot of things of my life in the last decade, just over a decade, there's a lot of humility I learned. I lost a lot of big ticket items.
Blessing.
So yeah, humility is an important one. Being humble, and so like kind of paralleling that with Job and how he has lost so many things in his life that were dear to him.
Who?
Job
Oh, Job. Yeah.
in the Bible.
Yeah.
So yeah, humility was one. I would say another one would be God's will, God's way, not my will, my way. Be wholehearted for God, I think, is really important. And it's not all about making money. The real wealth and real success is family. And those are kind of 3 really big pieces, I'd say. Money, family, and humility.
Okay. Oh, something that I forgot to ask. Did you guys undergo premarital counseling before you guys getting married?
Yeah, we did it with her father, which was nothing really.
Why do you say nothing?
We did a test. He had one little chit chat with us. I think it was one. And we went through it very superficially. We didn't talk about sex at all. And then what happened after
Did you
that.
just want to talk about sex? Like,
Well, I do feel it, and I say this again now, like it is very important, especially two people brought up in the church don't know anything about sex. Who are you going to learn it from? Your parents don't tell you about sex, um, and the preacher doesn't tell you about sex. Like you're just going to learn it from your friends or the internet. So there's got to be one safe place to learn from it, and that would be, well, premarital counseling. You would think.
I'm curious to know. No, you don't have to answer. What, just in summary, what did you guys talk about in the premarital counseling?
That was a long time ago. I don't know if I
Yeah,
really remember. I did a lot. I think more of our own counseling afterwards that would supersede
okay.
whatever we talked about, but
Yeah.
it was superficial in the way it was just about pretty much like the vows in a wedding is, sickness and health for death, or for sickness and health, rich or poor, whatever, till death do us part. It was kind of that more speed. It wasn't really making promises or understanding how to be a husband or a wife.
Okay.
In my opinion, it was more. I read a ton of books on marriage after the marriage counseling, after we got married. I think I probably read like 5 or 6 books or something.
Okay. Yeah, I think unless you have a parting shot.
There's a whole bunch on that story that would take hours and hours to talk about. So, yeah, that was. It's just the worst thing. I would say divorce is the worst thing we could do in this first world country, to strip everything from a guy, and it's bad for the guy, one, sure, or it could be a girl either.
Yeah,
Um,
it's not just a guy. I think
but the
also
kids
girls.
are the ones who are the biggest losers, and
Mm.
that's what I would want to, die fighting for, is that kids don't ever have to go through this same pain. This is worse than my time in Afghanistan. Is seeing someone kind of held captive or kidnapped pretty much from a loving parent, without any justified reasonability or
Yeah.
means of why that would happen. That is total cruelty in my mind. I don't want to see it happen to any other kids. So, if yeah, you ever want to be a big brother to another kid who doesn't have a father, that would be probably the biggest move of our future generation.
Okay, so thank you guys for joining us today again, and this was the part two. Probably he's saying he has a lot more to share regarding the same topic. Maybe sometime he will think about what he wants to share, and then we'll have a part three, or maybe a whole different thing. I don't know.
And if you have
But
any questions and there's something that wasn't clear, put them in the comments for sure. I'm a pretty open book,
yeah, we
so.
will record a video, even if it's a 10 minutes or 5 minutes video to explain. I think he'll be happy to do that. So ask whatever question you want to ask, and we will be happy to answer, and as well as take accountability in regarding the same, right? Answer at least your truth.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
no, I like truth more than feelings. I'll say what's true rather than just make myself look good.
okay, so thank you, and kindly subscribe, click notification bell, ask those questions, comment, share, and we'll see you in our next episode, and it's going to be an interesting one. I hope you join. Bye, and see you. Bye.
Have a good one.
Yeah.